We bless the Lord for whatever He has given unto us in our days, where we have a lot of knowledge as prescribed in the days past, that in our days, in the latter days, knowledge shall increase. It is important to know the reason why knowledge increases is because as knowledge in the world increases, we ought to have the same level or even above of the knowledge in the Spirit that should be poured into the hearts of men such that it overfloods and consumes what would rather be so much relevant in the days that people have not given themselves wholly to God. The prescriptions of the Bible are so clear that once you give yourself wholly to God, your profiting is seen by them all. However, most people are giving themselves wholly to some other things and they give less time to the things of God. Yet in the things of God is where your true identity, the original version of you comes out. Because if you never give yourselves to the plans of God, you're going to live a very mediocre life, because in Him we live, in Him we move, and in Him we have our being. And once you are living in another way, that means you are living on your own, and in that way you will never fulfill even a quarter of what was ordained for you in the original script of heaven. We ought to understand this, that all men of God that you hear, all women of God that you hear, are here to speak for the one who sent them. And our focus majorly should be on the one who sent them, as we regard less, not as more we are demeaning them, but we regard less of the ones that are speaking for who sent them. But unfortunately nowadays we focus much on he who is sent than he who sent them, even when the man or woman of God is speaking about the author and finisher of our faith. Most of the times when people go astray, most of the times when people face issues in their personal lives, maybe the enemy is tormenting them, maybe things are attacking them, maybe things are not working the way they thought they should be working, they run to the one who was sent and not to the one who sent them. All of us are conduits of messages, conduits of power, conduits of entities that the Spirit has given unto us to ensure that we connect men to the one who is of a high authority, the Most High God. Yes, men of God are high, women of God are high, but there is one who is most high. Every time that we understand that, we should run to He who is most high, higher than the high, highest to those that are higher. And in so doing, we acknowledge, we get into the depth of the iota that supplies true life unto us. Many a times we understand that when Samuel was called, he ran to the one who was sent and not to the one who was originally calling them. Every child of God who is destined for greater things and is serving and ministering unto the Lord in true purpose, he is always called by the one who sent the rest that are being sent. All of us at the end of the day, we imitate those that are still imitating Christ, but in the end, we want to focus on one thing, the Christ Himself. Paul gave mention of that in one of his letters. He said that imitate me as I imitate Christ, and as long as my walk with Christ is not in the right spaces, never try to imitate me. That's what he says. And in the Bibles and in the scriptures, we also understand that in the end, as you're picking your walk through the man that has trained you to know He who sent him, you gain stability such that you dig your own well. And as long as you're not digging your own well, you will depend on the scarcity of the waters of others when they are scarce, or you dig your own well such that you know its depth and you know the kind of water that you have in terms of purity, in terms of quality, in terms of content, that is reaching your very source. All of us can dig our wells and we can tap into the very endless sources that have supplied others such that we can commune with originality. We can draw from the very sources that other men have drawn through and not depending on the brooks of others, some of which are already dry. So children of God, we want to assure you that as long as you are living on this body and on this earth, seek to know He who sent the rest, such that you hear the voice that calls you to send you. As long as you are under that voice that is instructing you to become better each day, you will reach your destiny. You will be drawn to God and you will draw many other people to Him who sent you such that he also sends others. The worry of God and the worry of Christ when he was on the earth, he said that the harvest is plenty, but there are few laborers. There are many people speaking about God, talking about God, claiming to preach the gospel, but there are few men and women who labor in truthfulness to go seek out the harvest. Not in any way. Every one of us has to labor in order to make that harvest come into the house of God. And when we do that, we please the Lord, and our stars shine, and our crowns become more shiny to the glory of the